Alright, now we're gonna do, English toffee. Been here for like 3 hours. So basically, this is a lot tricky. You need what they call a candy thermometer. It can be glass, or you can have an electronic one. I did have an electronic one, but the thing is, they do last, but sometimes the heat will burn the circuit boards in them, even if they do have a heat shield. So I prefer glass. The only problem with glass is if it breaks, basically throw out the whole batch. So I usually use this maybe once or twice during my batches. I've been doing it for so long that I can just go by look and I can tell. So if you're first beginning, definitely use this. And for English toffee, you want to go to about 300 to about 305 degrees. And this is hot enough that if you get it on yourself, you basically are going to get third-degree burns. So I advise you to wear oven mitts. Definitely. You don't want to look like Freddy Krueger. So basically, got sugar, vanilla. I already got the water added in there, of course. Salt and butter. And the best thing about it is to put this chocolate on top when it's melted. But before we go on that, you are definitely wanting to be prepared because you don't have much time when this stuff sets. So you want to have a pan that's greased. You know, pan will be alright. And I usually use a wooden spoon. And the reason I do that is because it's smooth. It's a lot easier. Don't get anything that has like splinters on it, you know. No one wants that in there. So make sure you got a good soft wooden spoon. And basically, I'm going to set this up. You don't want it touching the bottom of the pan. Kind of want it elevated, but you want it where that bulb is going to be covered, so it's actually getting a temp. So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm not able to talk right now and do anything because all I'm doing is melting it. But once we get to a stage of melting, you are going to have to constantly stir. And I mean constantly, because if you do not, you will burn it. And like I said, no one likes burnt tasted candy. I mean, especially if you're gonna like prepare it for somebody, be like, here, oh, this looks really good. Oh, you taste it and you're like, yeah, but it tastes like ass. You know, I don't think anybody wants to have something that tastes like ass in their mouth. So. I mean, right now it's fine because all you're doing is melting shit, but and the butter, you are not going to use salted butter. That's a no-no. You want unsalted butter. I repeat, unsalted. Pretty much all candy making is unsalted butter. There's a reason for that. You want some, but you want a teensy amount because that'll hold it together. If you have too much, it's basically going to fall apart and turn like water. I mean, it's obvious when you throw butter in the microwave, melt it, you can see how shit separates. So That's why you use unsalted butter. Alright, so, alright, well, we're going to kind of tap this down a little bit. Not touching the bottom, like I said. And you might want to control the heat. You know. So one thing in school is you don't just turn something freaking flat out board. Since it's melting, you can pour this in. It's your sugar. About 2 cups of sugar and about half a cup of butter. So not a half cup, I mean like a cup. Sorry, cup of butter. Put our salt in there. It's basically going to be our thing that molds it. Now, just not just see that. This made me look like a retard. Well, it's only human to be retarded once in your life, so okay. Now we are at about 225, so this one you gotta constantly stir this shit. I'll get back on this later, because it's gonna be kind of hard to do this at the same time, so alright, I'm back. As you can see, sorry, my batteries went dead, so I didn't have time. But anyway, it'll get real thick, and you just keep stirring it until you see it hit like the 300 mark or 305, and then you pour your vanilla in, and you stir it real quick, turn off the heat, take the thermometer out, and put it on here, and you spread it out, and then you put milk chocolate chips on top, and it'll melt it, and you just spread it. And when you get spread, you take these malted, or these chopped up pecans, and you sprinkle it on top. And when it sets, you basically break it apart, and you have little pieces to eat. So yeah. Alright, this is, as you can see, that first batch I did on this recording turned out like shit, because my batteries went dead and I left, and as you can see, it's like mush. You don't want it that way. You want it like crumpled, you know, crunchy, but yet not stick to your teeth. And the thermometer I was using is a piece of garbage, so I'm doing it old school where I don't use the thermometer, which is very, very tricky. You gotta really know what you're doing. But I will say this: when you're stirring, don't be like, because you'll mess it up. What you want to do is you kind of just want to go like this. You know, it's like wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. And you want to do that pretty much throughout the whole time. And once one of these batches, I'll show you what I mean by doing it by just look. It's kind of complicated, but not entirely. So not entirely complicated. So okay.